Okay, today we've got Guthrie Trapp. This great idea about learning arpeggios in the style of Hey Joe. So first of all, I'm going to play the clip, and then we're going to break it down chord by chord.
If I start here, that's a good example.
Okay, Guthrie Trapp's channel, you want to check it out if you've not done. He's fantastic. And he goes into a lot of ideas about breaking down, the cage system and the triads within the chords, and then breaking that down into single notes and playing melodies. And Hey Joe is a fantastic study for breaking this stuff down and learning your chords and chord shapes across the neck. So first of all, let's look at some triads and just talk about the chords. So I'm going to do triads just on the D, G and B strings and just go through the chords of Hey Joe. So we've got C major, G major, D major, A major to E. We could do them triads here: C major, G major, D major, A major, and E. So it's good to learn your triads and know them up and down the neck. And what we're going to do next is Guthrie reduces it even, he reduces it down even further and starts doing this with arpeggios and just borrowing a couple of scale tones here and there. So the positions he plays out of are C major with our D shape leading into our E shape, then moves to the G shape, the G chord at the C shape arpeggio chord, then the A shape for D, and then the C shape for A, and then you've got E. So let's look at this and break it down chord by chord. I've written out the tabs for this as well, so I'm going to put the tabs at the end of the video so you can study it. It's just a great way to start studying chord shapes and arpeggios and triads and your cage system across the neck in the contents of a cool song. And Hey Joe uses the circle of fifths, so it's a good practical theory study. It's good fun. So the first chord, C major.
If I start here,
Email. So we're coming out of this the D shape on the top three strings, but we're walking into that major third. So we're going 15 and walking into that third, up the triad, and then we're using that same note here to walk into that third. And then we're going into this triad for C here. That's the first part. So you can start hearing the melody of the chord. So now we need G. And there's our G. Now if we look where we finished on this C root, the 10th fret of the D string, going back to the circle of fifths, if I now come back a half step, that's going to put me in the major third of the fifth of that chord. So G, that's the major third of G, so it walks into that G chord. Put them together. So we're using this C shape for G, going into the D shape, and we're we're using this tone as well out of the scale, out of the major scale. Then we need our D chord. There we go. So again, we're coming up to this note on the 10th fret, the A note, 10th fret of the B. And then we walk into that major third. So we finished the last one on the G root. Behind it is the major third of the D chord. But we're using this scale tones, this scale tone. And we're going to walk into that. So from the top. And then we're going to come up that D triad, which comes out of this A shape. So it's just a bar on the D, G and B strings with our first finger. You've got third, root, fifth. From the beginning. There we go. So for A, we're using the same shape. So there's our D shape, and we're using the same shape we did for the G. So we're going to use our C shape for A. We're going to come down the triad, third, fifth, root. So we're coming in this shape, and then we're going to grab that tone out of the scale. There's our major scale in that position. Back to the third, back to the root.
That's a good example.
Okay, let's listen to this from the beginning.
If I start here, that's a good example.
So the ending is cool because it goes into E, and he goes into E minor, and I'll tell you, you can get into E minor from the A. So from the top. Now we need that E minor or E7. So when you're on the A root, whenever you're on the A, so we've just come down the triad of A, on the root, a whole step behind that root is your minor third for E. So the fifth of A, the minor third of it is a whole step now behind the root. It's not a half step, that would be the major third. We're going to go a whole step, which is the minor third. Puts you straight in the minor pentatonic. So remember, that's a good study if you're learning these arpeggios and triads. And remember, wherever you've got these chords on the neck, you've got these arpeggios for each chord in 5 different spots. So you can do this all over. If you leave some comments and you want me to go over more of this, I can start a little bit of a series, and I can get more of the Guthrie, because Guthrie goes into it all over the neck as well, and I'll break it down. And I can keep doing little bits and pieces of this every now and again. So like I said, I've got the tabs coming up at the end of the video, so you could just do a quick screenshot, and then you can study this along with the video. All right, cheers, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.